Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Hour number 16. Wow, 16. We're there already. Good gracious. Good morning, everybody. I am just going to hang out here. I'm a few minutes early. I just want to make sure everything was okay today here. We've got everything working. Sometimes we just never know with Facebook. So good morning. Welcome to Crafty Hour number 16. Today is about the Spellbinders when it is Always Remember is what the kit is. So this is the one we're going to be using today. I have created 3 cards with this. And I know Courtney has some cards that she's going to be sharing later this afternoon. So good morning, good morning. I did post this picture of what to find for your die cuts and some optional items. So we're going to go over this together, get started in a few minutes. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for hopping on and saying hello. Much appreciated. A little disclaimer, I do have a bit of a nasty cold. It seems to be a little worse today, and I'm going to take it that that's a good sign. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So I can only go the other way now. I did heavily medicate. So we'll see how this works. Hopefully my brain is on there. But I do have a cup of tea with some honey and lemon. So I will have to take a little pause here and there and just soothe the throat so that I don't start coughing. So good morning. Yeah, I have taken 5 COVID tests just to make sure everything is good. I think it's just a good old-fashioned cold, and we kind of forget about those now. So we'll see if the tea helps a bit. And it's very hot, so good morning. All right, so we're going to make 3 cards. This kit was loaded with stuff. There was a full stamp set that I didn't even get to use. And I actually, for one of these cards, I brought in a Pink Fresh Sentiment, but that is optional. You don't have to use one of these. I just brought one in, but I do have options for you that aren't in the kit if you don't have that. So we're going to get started in just 1 minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab something here that I have. One moment. Okay, let's get started. I wanted to bring this in. I am going to be using this die. Now this die, again, it's an optional. I just wanted to show you what it looks like to use because I did talk about it in one of my previous Together at 2s. This is from Waffle Flower. It's called Nested Dotted Rectangles. And there's lots that you can do with this one. Let me bring mine in here that is open. Thank you, thank you. There's lots that you can do with this. And I did show you in one of our Together at 2s how you can use it like this and have little, you can change out the size of this by simply changing out these. So we could die cut 2 together. So I could even do 3 together if I wanted, and add another one in there. And it just gives a really kind of cool effect and a cool look. So I'm going to be using this today, but you don't have to. I just wanted to show you how I like to use this. Now, the other thing you can do with this is you can tear it. So let me just show you. And it will kind of look like a postage stamp then. So I'm just going to go around. Good morning, Diane. Welcome, welcome. And you see how you can then do it like a postage stamp. So you can get many different looks with this one. Yes, you could stitch with it too. For those that know me, I failed home ec, and so therefore we do not stitch. But there's lots that you can do with this die. So I'm going to just have it as just a little element on this card. And if you don't have it, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Yours is just going to be plain white. So that die I'm using, Waffle Flower's Nested Dotted Rectangles. And there's a lot of dies in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 dies. Crazy amounts of dies. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to use that one today. All right, let's get started. So hopefully you've gone through and pulled all your die cuts. Again, you can mix and match and use whichever ones you like. I'm just going to show you the cards that I'm going to do. And I am going to be using the chipboard squares. And in the kit, they only gave us one of each. So I am going to be improvising. So you will be able to use the right ones, but because I only have one of each, I will be improvising. Good morning, Courtney. All right, so let's get started with the first one. And this is the first one we are going to use. Karen, I have the one in my hand right now, and I do believe more of those dies. Now, where did I even put it? Good gracious. See, this is what I mean. When you're fighting a cold, your brain is resting. I have one of these in my hand, and then I know I have more coming. Okay, so in your kits, you did get card bases. So I'm going to use one of those card bases. These are A2 size. So go ahead and grab one of those. And then on the die cut sheet, I had wrote that optional was pink foil paper. So I am using some of the pink foil paper from Hunky Dory. Now, if you don't have any pink foil, you can use the textured pink foil as well. If you don't have any of those, in your box, in your kit, you have some of the pink cardstock. So feel free to grab maybe one of the darker pink, or if you prefer, totally up to you, you could grab the lighter pink. And you can use that instead of the pink foil. That is why it was optional. Now, as you can see from this card, I'm going to be having it as a base here that we're just going to see poking through those holes and a little bit on the sides. So whichever of the pink foil or pink cardstock that you have will do. And we're going to trim that down so it's just a little bit smaller than our card. So our card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to go just under 4 1/4 by just under 5 1/2. So that'll be 4 1/8. And just under 5 1/2 will be 5 3/8. And then I always double check. Make sure it fits, because sometimes I need to just shimmy it a little bit. But nope, I think that looks good. So go ahead and glue that on. I forgot my quick dry. I'm getting low on my quick dry right now. So we'll just use this one. Okay, so this can be your pink foil, or it can be your pink cardstock. I'm using the Hunky Dory, but you can also use the pink texture if you wish. Doesn't matter. This is just going to be for our background. Oh, I forgot one measurement on there. That is going to be the white. Now I'm going to do the white a little bit bigger. So in your kits, you do have white cardstock. So I'm going to be using this as my mat on here. Now the white, the final measurement is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. But because I am going to use my die, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Now, if you are not using one of the dies, just go ahead and cut this white to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to cut it in half here. I'm going to make mine 5 1/2 because I want it a little bit bigger for my die. So I'm going to make this the size of a card front. So if you are not using the die, then just go ahead and cut it to 4 by 5 1/4. But because I'm going to use my die, I'm going to trim it down later. So I'm going to put this right in the middle, and then I can trim around it to make sure it's perfect. So that's how I'm going to do it. Now, if I wanted, like I showed you in this one, let me grab this one. If I wanted to do another one, I could die cut them all at the same time if I wanted to. So I could layer another one in here, but I don't need to. So I'm just going to die cut this off to the side here in my Big Shot. Now you could use any die. You could use a scallop die. It's just something, I like the holes on this one. Okay, and it does, not gonna lie, it makes a little bit of mess with these holes, so I'm just gonna kind of run my fingers over top of the holes, over the garbage, as much as I can. And any holes that maybe aren't going through, I could always just go through and poke as well. They come out really easy, but I'm just going to run my hand through them. And the reason I did this a little bit bigger is because I wasn't quite trusting that it was going to stay center. So now I can make sure when I trim it down, it stays center. Okay, I think I got them all out. That's how we'll clean up. So as you can see, this is exactly the size of my card. I'm going to trim a little bit all the way around so that my final measurement is that 4 by 5 1/4. So if I don't think I'm quite even, now I can kind of work my way around. And make sure it's a little bit even. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then by 5 1/4, I think that looks pretty good. Missed a hole there. Come on. Okay. So before I attach it, I'm just going to hold it up and make sure that I have an even border of pink all the way around. And it looks good. And for me, I'm going to foam tape this on. I want to have a little bit of dimension. You do not have to. And if you're using plain white with no fancy border, I would just go ahead and glue it right on. But I am going to put some foam tape in the middle. Now, I don't want to cover the holes because that wouldn't serve the purpose. So I'm just going to put it kind of inside those holes. Maybe I'll do one more up at the top here. Because I'm going to raise this one up. And again, I'm just doing that more so I could get the shadow. By the kid this time there. Oh yeah, you totally could, Linda. There's lots. Okay, so let's try and put this on nice and straight. Perfect. So you can see that you're getting a little bit more shadowing when you puff it up like that, when you pop it up. And I just think that looks really nice. So this die is just going to add exactly a pretty little fancy border all the way around. Okay, now my next thing is I'm going to go to my floral patterns. And there's so many papers in here. I think this is the one I use. Yep, it's towards the back. It is a little bit bigger floral pattern. And this is the one that I'm going to trim to fit inside your holes. Now, if you are not using this die, then you can make it larger. Okay, if you're not using this die, you're going to come maybe to just under 4 by just under 5 1/4. But you guys can measure your paper and make sure that you have the right measurement. For me, I'm going to do it a little bit bigger. I'm going to do it at 3 5/8. That's the distance between the holes. So just over 3 1/2 by just under 5. And for you guys, you're going to measure yours and you're going to cut it so that it fits inside there. Now we are going to use this piece in another card, so I'm just going to put this piece off to the top there, and I think I'm just going to smidge it a little bit more so it's right inside those holes. Let's see. Oh, that looks perfect for mine. So you measure whichever you used. You might have used a different die. And then you're going to glue that on. And you might want a little bit bigger white border around, so that's okay too. Then it will mimic a little bit more this style. Okay. I think I'm going to put it like that. And then that part is done. Now we're going to be going to our die cuts and our frames. And I'm going to be probably having to rip apart my card a little bit because, like I mentioned, I don't have a lot of the frames handy. So then what I did is I went to this pink floral paper, pink with some white kind of flowers on it. Let me just sit this aside while you find that one. Okay, now this piece that we're going to be using is going to be for the inside of all of the frames. So what we're going to do is cut one strip first that's 2 1/4. Anywhere from this, it doesn't matter. We're just going to go all the way down at 2 1/4. That's the first one. So I have a strip that's 2 1/4, and of course it's 6 inches long. 2 1/4 by 6. And then I'm going to cut 2-inch pieces. So right now this measures 6. I'm going to do 4 inches, cut, 2 inches, cut, and I have 3 even pieces that each measure 2 1/4 by 2. So these are what I'm going to put behind my frames. Now we're going to grab a few frames from your pile. The first one I want you to do is find the large oval that is a circular oval, or not circular, oval, that has the gold circles on it. And we're going to cut that in half. You don't need all of it. You can see that it's right here, and we're only going to see a little bit. So just take it and cut it in half, and that way you'll have another one for another piece. And this one is the white-ish one, kind of whitey. You have a teal one and you have a gray one. And there is adhesive on there, although I have not found that this has been very strong adhesive, so I'm just going to add a little bit. Totally up to you. So cut it in half, and then I am just going to attach it and trim around. Where did I put my scissors? There we go. Just going to trim around. I'm not worried about the bottom because we're not going to see the bottom at all. So we're only going to see the top part. If you want to tear off the bottom, you can, but I'm just going to leave that one like that. Okay, now the next 2 chipboards we're going to use, one is going to be the pink one, and one is going to be the kind of white-ish with gold on it. And these are square. And unfortunately, you only get one of each. So this is going to be a little challenging. I'm going to have to rip up this card, which is okay. I'll just rip it apart and grab out those frames. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to cover the back. There we go. Just rip this out. You're going to cover the back with these pieces of white. Maybe I can't rip it out. Okay, so you're just going to have to pretend that I have a white one and a pink one. I'll use a gray one. Completely. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to improvise. And we're just going to cover both of those. So you're using pink and you are using the kind of white-ish one. I'm going to improvise with this one. That's what I'm going to do. So pretend this is my other square. It'll work. I know it's weird that they only gave us one of each. And then I used all the squares, which was kind of silly. But you can use the ones I did. And again, if you want to add a little extra adhesive, of course you can. So 2 squares you'll have, and then the half oval you'll have. And now it's really just about decorating. So we don't need those measurements anymore. We're going to pull all of the die cuts for this card. And all of the die cuts, we have 3 gold die cuts, like that. So these are the gold leaves. We're going to do the thinking of you, the big pink butterfly, the 2 big blossoms that are pink, and then this little blossom. That's all we need. So for me, it was all my stuff I put at the very top. All right, so let's get started. We're going to go with the oval first, the half oval, and put some glue on the back because this one is going to be flat. And I'm going to put it up in the top like so. It's on a slight angle up in the top. That's the first one. Then we're going to go to the pink frame. Pretend yours is pink. Yours will be pink. Pretend mine is pink. And we're going to put a little bit of foam tape on it. Now, we just want a little bit of foam tape because we are going to be stuffing some of our gold leaves through there. So I'm not going to cover my entire piece with foam tape. I'm just going to put a little bit kind of in the middle so I can still stuff a little bit under there. And your pink one is going to go on a slight angle on the other side. So let me bring the card back in so you can see the real one. Just on a slight angle. Drop down a bit. Okay, then you're going to find your next one, which yours should be the white one. And we're going to add, now this one's going to get a little bit different. On the right-hand side, we're going to do double foam tape. Now, don't attach it just yet because I think we'll put that vine down first. But we're going to do double foam tape on the right side, single foam tape on the left. But I think we'll add that gold first. So this is the one I'm going to kind of put down first. This is probably the bigger of the 3. So if you find this one, we'll put a little bit of glue, just a little bit. And I'm going to put this kind of like that because it's a big one. And I do have it kind of hanging over right now. And then we'll put it over top. Now this one drops down a bit. And I'm going to bring back in the real one here so you can see it. It kind of drops down. So your frames will be the same as the one on the left. All right. Now, let's see, which one shall we do next? Let's put this vine. This is the next one we're going to use. And again, these vines, it doesn't matter which one we use where. I'm going to stick this one. I'm going to tear off the bottom a little bit. I'm going to stick this one kind of coming out like that. Okay, so you might have to rip the bottom just a little bit. Put a little bit of glue in there. I'm just going to add it right there. All right, so we have two flowers. We have a peachy flower and a pinky flower. I'm going to do the pinky flower first. And I'm going to add some foam tape. The first place I'm going to add some foam tape actually is under my square frame on the left, double foam tape kind of right there, because this is going to hang down a bit. So I need a little bit of double foam tape there. That's double. And then I'll put a piece on there. And with this one, I didn't want to see the green, so I'm going to turn it kind of like that so that the green is going to get hidden. And I might even end up cutting some of the green. Now, if you find you don't have enough support here, you can always add a little bit of foam tape. And that's just going to cover the bottom of your pink frame. Okay. And then I'm going to bring over my peachy blossom. And I'm going to put some foam tape on that. Foam tape. And some foam tape. And again, I'm going to put the green kind of more in the center. Kind of like that. All right, now Thinking of You is going to go across the center and connect the two flowers. So if you put yours there, you'll see whether you're seeing some of that green through there. And if you are, and if it's bothering you, you could always go through and just snip some of it. It might not be bothering you. And it's going to go kind of like that. Now I'm going to move this one, I think, over just a hair. There. So what I did, you could see that this is a little bit lower level. So I'm going to add a little piece of foam tape kind of right there, just to level it out when this goes across. You know what? I'm going to cut that green leaf off too. Get rid of it. And then we'll put some foam tape on the back of Thinking of You. Like so. And kind of place it wherever you like it. I think I kind of like it like that, so that it is connecting the two. And it looks a little different than my first one. That's okay. Close. Okay, now I'm going to add this little pink blossom. And I'm going to just slide it in here just to give it another little flower up there. I just glued it flat. These frames are great for taking your stamp sets. Oh, I left my I'm Thinking of You at home. But you could take these stamp sets and stamp inside your frames. So I could have taken that I'm Here For You and stamped that inside. They fit really nicely inside all of the frames. And it's a fantastic stamp set. There's so many great words in there. Now that does leave me with this little gold one left, and I'm just going to bring that down here and add it so I kind of create that visual triangle of gold. Okay. And then the last thing that that's going to give me is my butterfly. And I'm going to put my butterfly kind of up above this flower. Now, I had to do a little bit of maneuvering because this is a big butterfly. So I added a little bit of foam tape first. And I think, yep, I just did foam tape. I expanded this foam tape here just a little bit. And then I'm going to put it another piece on top. And I did that one too big. Good morning, Gloria. Yes, Stacy answered your emails when she got in at 9:30 this morning. So you should have an email. I know she was working on it. And there you go. We can have that little die cut butterfly right above it. Now, there's lots of places you could put this butterfly. I had him all over the place. There's quite a few different places you can put him. Okay, so that is our first card done. Okay, everybody doing okay? We'll move on to card number 2. This probably was one of the more time-consuming ones. The other ones will go pretty quickly. So you can see that's just a really pretty die, and I think there's lots of uses for that, but it just really pops that edge around there. All right, let's move on to our next one. We'll get that out of the way. So you're going to need, where's the little flower? Sharon, I stuck the little flower kind of just behind that first one that we put down. It's on the frame. With this one, you could even put it behind the thinking of you if you wish. It's just kind of, and it's glued flat. Just kind of tucked in there. Okay, so we're going to need our die cuts that I had you guys all pull from your die cut pack. So get those ready. And this is going to be our next card. Now, we do have a little bit of die cutting to do because we are going to use that lovely die from your die set. So many words in here. And in your die set, you also have these little flowers that can fit right on top of here. I am not going to use the flowers for this, but that is what it's for. These little flowers will just fit right on here. You can make this a wreath, an oval wreath, or we're just going to use parts of it. So have that die handy. And we're going to use our white card. We're not going to use this paper yet. Our white card and some of the gold foil that was included in your kit. Okay. So we're going to cut our gold foil to slightly smaller than our card. So that'll be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now you probably will have a full sheet, so I would recommend do the 5 3/8 cut first, but I have a partial sheet that I brought with me. So I'm going to do 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And we're going to use more of this gold, so don't put it too far away. But this should fit, so it's just a little bit smaller than the front of your card. I'm going to smidge that just a bit more. Now, before we glue it, we're going to cut out that vine. And actually, we could probably do 2 cuts because we'll use one of them for our next card too. So what we're going to do is bring in the die cut machine, and we're going to make sure that we're cutting it out of the middle so that we could get another one out of this. So then my next one will go right here. Okay, so we're going to cut that out. It is an amazing die. This whole die set is really cool. Okay. And it's nice and intricate. Just wiggle that little bit out. And then we're just going to push these little pieces This one takes a little bit of TLC to get it all out of there. And we're going to be cutting this apart, so I'm not going to stress too much. And then we're going to do another one out of here. So I will be able to get another one out right there, still maintaining the edge all the way around like that, so I can still cover all of that up. So go ahead and cut two, and we'll put one of them aside for the next card. And that's it for the die cutting then. Okay. Now, let me get my little poker. That worked better. My other poker wasn't quite pokey enough. Okay. So I'm going to use one now. I'm going to use one later. And like I said, you could go back and add flowers, but we're not going to do that on this one. And then we're just going to glue that entire piece on to our card. Get a little bit there. All right. Nobody's going to know that that whole mess is under there. Perfect. Now the next two papers I'm going to find are the blue wood, which is this one, and I want the vines, the leaves, which is this one. These are the two that I'm going to use next. And we're going to cut these to the exact same measurement. So I'm going to cut them together because I can do that. Your trimmer will be able to. These aren't thick papers. So the vine one, it's kind of a greeny blue vine. And then the blue wood. Now the blue wood, very important, the wood is going up and down. Vertical, so that our wood grain is going the right way. And I'm going to cut these at the same time because the measurement is the same. We're going to take it to 4 inches and cut. So 4 inches is the first cut. That will ensure that our wood grain goes the same way. And I'm cutting both of them at the same time. That way I know that they're going to be the same. And then I'm going to take it to 3 inches. So I have 2 pieces that measure 4 inches across and 3 inches tall. Both of them measure the same. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the dark blue one down on the bottom. And then we're going to put the vine one over top. And it is going to lay over top of the dark wood. And again, because I cut them at the same time, they are a perfect match. So we're going to take the dark blue, glue that one on first. You will get a little bit of the gold on the sides and a little bit on the bottom. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to take the vine one and put it over top. And it's okay that it goes over top. Totally fine. All right. And again, we want to make sure we have a little bit of white. Or sorry, a little bit of gold showing on the top. Okay. So all we've done is cut them together 4 wide, 3 tall. Glued the bottom one with the blue wood, top one with the vine. Now I'm going to find some of my gold. You may need to trim a little piece of this. And I want a piece that's 4 inches long by 3/4 of an inch wide. So if you don't have a little scrap like I do, you probably won't. Then just cut a little piece. I'm going to cut this to 4 inches. And then I want it to be 3/4 of an inch wide. So you could just trim a little 3/4 inch piece off another piece if you want. That's okay. So it's 3/4 of an inch wide. And we're just going to attach that right across the seam so that we do not see that seam at all. And I'm going to do this one flat. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit on top, a little bit of glue, and right across. And we'll straighten it up. And we're not going to see that seam at all. Okay, one more paper that we're going to find for this card, and it is, let's see, it's this one right here, just after the rainbows. It is the blue one with the clouds. Blue one with the clouds. And we're really not going to see the clouds on this one, so we're not worried about them. This is going to be the piece that's going to go right behind our frame. So we're going to cut it to 2 1/4. 2 1/4. 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And again, don't stress the clouds. You really won't see that they're clouds once all is said and done. All right. Now I want you to find your teal oval. I do not have a teal oval left, so I'm going to use my gray oval, but you're going to use the teal oval. And we're not going to attach it. What we're going to do is just trim off these corners first. We're actually going to foam tape them together. But for now, I just want you to hold it up. Come on. And we're just going to hack off, for lack of a better word, because it doesn't have to be perfect, those corners. Get rid of them. And make sure that it lines up nice. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I did quite the hack job. Okay. Yes, Cindy, I am sick. I unfortunately have a chest infection. But it's not COVID, so that's a good thing. Just a nasty spring cold. Okay, now I am going to foam tape this on top of it. If you want to do it flat, of course you could do it flat, but I am going to foam tape it. So you can take this paper off if you wish, or you can leave it on. It's really not going to make a huge difference. I was going to take it off, but maybe, oh, there we go. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take my foam strips. Now, if you don't have the foam strips, that's okay. Just use some of your foam tape. You don't even have to cover the whole piece, but I do want you to put your foam tape as close to the opening as possible of your oval. And remember that if you take off, oh no, Deborah, I'm so sorry. If you take off the backing first, it will go around the corners a whole lot easier. Whole lot easier. Doesn't have to look pretty. Just get some foam tape on that. And then I'm going to foam tape it on and make sure that I don't see any paper. If I do, I could go back and trim a little, like right there, I might see a little bit. So I'm just gonna snip it off and do it like that. Okay. Now we're going to bring in our die cuts. We're done with all of our cutting of paper. We don't need any more paper. Now we're just going to start decorating. This one will go super quick. It's very easy, the rest of it. Okay. So once, I can see, actually it won't matter there, but we'll cut it just for the heck of it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some foam tape only in the middle. Because remember, I'm going to stuff a bunch of stuff under, so I don't want it to get in the way. So I'm just going to put some foam tape in the center only. And I'm going to come in maybe 1/2 inch-ish, kind of like that. Does that look about the same? Yeah, maybe mine might be a little bit higher. Maybe I'll come down just a hair. Just a hair. So it's kind of right in the middle almost. That's the color you're going to be having. I have the gray, but you're going to use the teal. Okay, and then we're going to add some flowers. So let's pull out this one, which is a long kind of border flower, a long strip of flowers. And then the other one we're going to use is this one right here. Okay, it's got the darker pink blossom, the peachy blossom, and then kind of like a hydrangea blossom. I think that's the one. Yep, that's the one. Okay, so we're going to start with this long one first. We'll put a little bit of foam tape behind it. That's a little bit more than I wanted. A little bit of foam tape. And we're going to put this kind of at an angle. Going to kind of jam it under there a bit. Kind of going to go like so. Up to the top. Just tuck it slightly under. Then I'm going to bring this one in, and this one is going to go, again, slightly under. I might need to trim it a little bit so that it fits, so I'm going to take off a little bit because I can tell mine won't quite go under as far as I need it to. It's gonna go like that. I think I need to trim it just a little bit more. Ah, that's perfect. Now, I'm going to put foam tape more so on the bottom half, not where it's going to overlap this first one. So again, if you just place it there, you'll be able to see exactly where you need your foam tape. So for me, that's perfect. I don't want any under this top one. This little blossom, I don't need any there. And it's just going to go like that. Okay, so it really does look like it's all one floral piece, which is exactly what I want. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the vase. And this is going to sit and cover my left edge of the frame. So it's going to go kind of, oh, come on. It's going to kind of go like that. So I'm going to put foam tape on the frame, the left side of the frame, like so. Foam tape there first. And then I'm going to get a little piece of double foam tape. And only because I know what my vase looks like, and I have a little bit wider space up here, I'm going to put it right there. So this is single, and then right inside the frame, because it drops down, I need a double. And play with your positioning. till you have it kind of right where you want it. That's perfect. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. More tea. Okay, I just noticed the time. I gotta hustle. Now this vine, I'm gonna kind of cut it in half. Let's see, where do I want to cut it? I'm gonna cut it right there. See right there? Let me cut it and then I'll show you. That's where I'm gonna cut mine. Let me bring it here so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so go ahead and cut yours in half. We're going to take the bottom half and I'm going to attach it kind of like so. Okay, so just a little bit is kind of coming out. And this bottom one, I'm going to attach it underneath like so. So I might need to make some tears, shrink it down just a bit. I'm only going to put glue on the bottom portion. I'm okay with it kind of hanging out. And it's going to cover up kind of where those two flowers are, where they overlap. And I'm going to do the same with the bottom. I might trim that off a bit. And again, only a little bit of glue on the bottom is necessary. And this one is going to glue. Come on, stick. Stick, stick, stick. I want it a little bit more wraparound. Okay. I'm not worried that I'm going to see it because I'm going to put my hugs there. So I think I'm going to leave it just hanging out like that. Okay, so that brings us to adding our hugs. Now, if you put your hugs kind of right here, you'll be able to see where it's going to go. I'm going to need extra high under my H and under my S. So I'm going to take my foam tape and I'm going to do a double high kind of under the S and kind of a double high under my H, kind of like so. And I can always go back and add more foam tape or remove it if it's bumping in. Like I see right now, that's going to bump in the way, so I'm going to bring it down a bit. Sometimes it's a matter of trying a few different places for your foam tape. There, I'm happy with that. Mine's a little bit lower than my first one, so I'm going to show you both of them. Okay, and then the last thing is we're going to take our little blue butterfly, and I'm going to put a pop dot behind him, just a little pop dot. And I'm going to put him on the vase. Okay. Now the last card is super easy. We've got 9 minutes. Might have enough time. We shall see. Right? Isn't that pretty? These papers are so beautiful. So I'll set that one aside. And we'll do the last one, which is right here. This one is very, very easy. For this one, we're going to use one of our white cards. And we're just going to use pattern papers for this one. So we don't need any of our solids, any of our foils. Let's find all of the papers. So start towards the back, and we're going to use this beautiful paper that is white with the gold lettering. It's a little blurry, sorry. I don't know why. White with gold foil. There we go. We're going to use that one. And then we're going to use this one, the green. And then remember that strip of extra? We're also going to use this piece, the strip of extra floral. So little strip of leftover from card number 1 and our green pattern and our white pattern with gold. So this card is going to be horizontal. It's going to open with a fold at the top. So we're going to cut that green pattern to just slightly smaller than our card. So same measurement as previous. We're going to do 4 1/8. That is our first cut. Save this by just under 5 1/2, 5 3/8. You don't have white. This isn't in your paper pad. Okay, you should have 2 sheets of it. Should have 2 sheets. Make sure they're not stuck together. Definitely should be in your paper pad. Okay, that is bizarre. Let's see, you can use any of these extras. Let's see which one would look pretty. Actually, this one would look really pretty. Totally, you can use this pink one. Pink with your little yellow stripes. That one would look really pretty with it. I think that one would look the best, to tell you the truth. You could do the raindrops, but I would go with the pink if I were you. That one will look very nice. Okay, so we're going to glue that on. That is your mat. Okay. And then, yes, this one would look pretty too. For sure. For sure, for sure. Now, when you are doing the word one, it's important that you cut it so the words are going the right direction. So I'm going to turn it sideways so my words are on their side. They're going up and down. And I'm going to do it at 4 inches first. So I am cutting with the words. I'm kind of almost cutting in between some lines. So 4 inches and then 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. Double check, make sure that fits on top of the green so you get a little border all the way around of green. Just take a hair off that. And then glue that one on. Now, as I'm gluing, I'm just going to remind you that tomorrow we have a new Crafty Hour with a company that we have never done before. So we're going to launch that tomorrow morning. So you'll want to watch. We'll do a quick little launch video. It will go live at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Central time. And it is limited. It is a company we've never used before. So we're pretty excited about that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to this leftover green piece. And I'm going to trim it so it is 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Right now it's 6 inches. So we're going to take it down to 5 1/4. And we're going to leave the width. We can't do anything about the width. We're going to leave it as is. The width of it is what was left over. And that's going to approximately measure 1 7/8. Just a smidge over 1 3/4. So we're just going to leave that be. Now I want you to find this little leftover piece of floral. And we're going to trim this to 1 3/4 wide. Okay, so this was left over, and yours might be different because of whether you had that white fancy dye or not. Doesn't matter, we're going to make it 1 3/4. 1 3/4. So this floral paper is 1 3/4, and then we're going to make it 5 1/4 long. Now we can always adjust this if it doesn't perfectly fit. I'm going to make mine smaller because what I want is green on both sides. So I'm going to smidge mine even more. Take off a little bit. Hold it up. Oh, that's perfect. So see how I have green on the top and green on the bottom? That's what we want. So I had to take off a little bit more. Same length. They should both be 5 1/4. When they're right, I want you to glue them together. I love that floral. I think that floral would look so pretty as a summer dress. So pretty. Okay. Same length. And then I'm going to foam tape it to my card. So I'm going to grab my foam tape. And we are going to foam tape it across the card. And then all we're going to do is start adding die cuts. So the next part will go fairly quick. Now, when we go across our card, we are not going in the center. Oh, I only will use the Tonic Tim Holtz trimmer. This, if you don't have this, this is a must-have. I could go on and on and on about this trimmer for days, and I usually do. But when I say that you can trim a hair off, I want to show you that you can literally trim a hair off. Okay? You'll never get a shaggy edge. Sometimes you have to clean it if you cut through glue. I don't recommend it. Thumb, finger. Thumb, finger. Crucial. That is what holds your paper straight. Thumb, finger, hold it down, and guillotine. It is the best trimmer I've had. I own a couple. I've had them for years. Self-sharpening. I've never had to sharpen it. I have had to clean it. My fault. Okay, real quick, let's bring in all of the leftover die cuts to start adding die cuts. First one I'm going to do, I call this one kind of the hydrangea cluster. It just reminds me of that. I don't know if that's right. So that first one, it's got 3 hydrangea. We're going to put some foam tape on the back of that. Pink flowers up at the top at 12 noon. And we're going to put this one kind of like that, okay? It's in a bit from the left edge, and it's up a bit from the bottom. And don't cover it all with foam tape because we are going to stuff some leaves under. Okay, then we're going to go to this one. 2 pinks and a kind of greeny. And this is going to overlap. It's going to kind of go like that. Now I'm going to put foam tape in this void area here, right? That's too much. Come on. I'm going to cover that little void area with foam tape because I know I'm going to need some there. And then just going to put foam tape in the middle. Remember, I can always go back and slide some through if I need to. And this is going to go like that. I'm going to come up just a hair more. Like that. Okay, so it's overlapping that first one. I'm going to put a little bit of foam tape under that for support. There. Then I think we'll add this blossom branch. A little bit of foam tape. And that one is going to go like that. Okay, now we have 3 leaves left. Let's start with the smallest bunch of leaves first. Now, hopefully I can maybe even just slide this under. It's going to go, holy smokes, what's going on over there? It's going to go kind of under here just to add a little bit of greenery in that area. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Maybe pick up my foam tape just a hair or more. Get under. Okay, so I've got a little bit of greenery coming out from there. I'm going to take the big one. This one I'm probably going to need to trim a little. Yep, I'm just going to rip off the bottom because this one is going to go up and under like so. So again, you should have enough room that you can just add a little bit of glue to the bottom. Tear it off if you need to. Slide it under. I'm going to add a little foam tape for support to this guy right here. Okay, so adding some greenery there. And the last greenery, I'm going to glue up like so, coming out from there. So again, just a little bit of glue. Like that. Now I do have, we're at that finishing touch here. I do have those, that vine that we cut. I'm going to cut it in half again. And I'm going to, I think I'll get rid of that. I'm just going to add a little bit of gold. Again, just over top like that. So I might actually tear that one off too. Just so it fits. Everybody's might be slightly different. And again, I only need some glue on the bottom just to add a little bit of gold to it. I'm going to do the same down here. That one didn't cut out as nicely as I'd like it, but that's okay. We'll just wing it. Okay. Then I have my pink butterfly. Pink butterfly needs a little pop dot, of course. And I'm going to put him right here, kind of where those 2 flowers overlap, just to kind of cover that little flower overlap. Now, there's 2 more things I did with this. And I had you pull these 2 from your die cut because I didn't use these. So you can put these here, whichever one you like. But as most of you know, I am partial to the Pink Fresh greetings. And so if you have a Pink Fresh package, it doesn't matter which one, I would choose one that is a gold. And I could do it, I think I'll do this one. Here I used the Happy Birthday with foam tape. I think I'll use this one that says on your special day. But you can use either of those 2. Those 2 I had you pull just as an option in case you don't have these Pink Fresh greetings. I'm a bit addicted to them. Now I am going to do this with double foam tape so that it can overlap my flowers right there. Now the last thing I did, and I'm going to leave it with you to do, is I added some of the iridescent sequins, just 2 parts of my card and flower, because it really just adds that little shine. And you do have some chipboard, so if you want, you can add that little sending my love. chipboard underneath. That is in your chipboard package. But as you can see, these are just really nice little iridescent. So I just grab a little bit of adhesive, and I just take my jewel picker and I just stick those on wherever I want them, just to add a little bit of color onto there, a little bit of a shine. And I actually do even add some right to the base paper, wherever you feel that it might be necessary. Oops. So they just add there, they act like a little jewel. Let go. Oh, it's upside down. That's why I didn't let go. Let's get rid of that one. Don't like that one. Okay, so that is it for my crafty hour. Thank you for joining me. Courtney will be back this afternoon. That'll be at 5 p.m. Pacific, and then you can kind of figure out your time zones from there. 5 p.m. Pacific will be Courtney's, and it'll be on her page. And now, don't forget, I would love to see what you're going to create, because there is so much left over in your kit. So many different items there. So please head on over to our Crafty Hour Creations. I'm going to bring all these cards back in. I've made a right old mess here. Crafty Hour Creations. Share your cards so that we can see what you have created. And there's just so much in your kit. I'm sure that you'll have lots to share with us. Oh, where's my other card? There we go. So those are our 3 cards for this morning. And then we will see you this afternoon. And don't forget, tomorrow morning we are going to be launching our next Crafty Hour. It is going to be something that you haven't seen before, and we're pretty excited about it. So thank you so much, and we'll see you later this afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.